For me, I just was ready to move on. And so that left me with college or failure in a lot of people's minds. Definitely in my parents' minds, college or failure. And I chose.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Stick Talk podcast. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for making time out of your day to watch this video. And if you can, real quick, there's a huge favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment now. Comment all throughout the video. Comment however many times you can, and we appreciate the support. But this is a unique one, given the lead up and also what's going to be happening after. Not too excited about it, but we've been hard for 24 hours. We're gonna give some context behind what that
Call
means.
a doctor.
Call a doctor.
Seek a doctor.
No, but we've been we're here with our good friend Matt Moore, and Dan and Christian as well. Not a part of the challenge, but he's here.
He also took the horny goat weed pill.
Yeah,
So he's been hard too for
but
different
for
reasons.
other reasons.
This is not going to be a good episode.
But if you're familiar with David Goggins, his slogan is "Stay Hard," and one of his challenges is the 4x4x48, which is 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 straight hours. So Matt, myself, and Dan are halfway through that challenge as we sit here today. 24 miles in, 24 more to go. Starting in like an hour from now is the next leg of it. And so, yeah, we're feeling it. We're feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I the only one?
Joints are sore for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool challenge, though. But we're excited to have Matt here to do a podcast. He's someone that I look up to a lot as a 20-year-old, right? You're 20 years old?
20?
It's crazy,
Damn,
dude.
bro, I can't even grow a beard.
Absolutely insane how you're only 20 years old, dude. A lot of wisdom, super powerful words. So I think this episode is going to be really, really unique because we'll be able to reflect on the challenge that we're going through right now, and also just learn more about Matt's story and what brings him here today. So welcome to the show, dude.
Bro, thanks for having me, you guys. I'm so grateful to be here, honestly, in such an amazing place, in a beautiful city of Tampa with guys like yourselves, you know, high-level men that I surround myself with, and I'm just so grateful to even be in this room. So thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely,
Of course, bro. Well, let's get right into it. Typically, the way we start the podcast is going back to your childhood and growing up. For you, that's not too far ago. For some of our other guests, it's not too long ago. It's like yesterday. You're kind of still in your childhood.
Just in puberty?
Yeah, it's still a kid here.
Bro, it's his stash. I got his mustache, dog.
I know, but I'm just like, let's go back to his childhood, which was like yesterday. But who was Matt growing up? Where did you grow up? What was childhood like? What were some of the big moments? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up in small town Indiana, Seymour, Indiana, and I had your stereotypical family of four. You know, dad, police officer, mom, a nurse, older brother, 5 years older than me. And that was up until I was 11. Parents got divorced. That was a monumental moment in my life. But growing up, always an athlete, playing baseball. It's really where I got kind of that leadership quality from. I was always the leader of the teams, leader of just everything ultimately. So got divorced. Parents got divorced at 11, and my brother, he was 16 at the time, and he just really turned to self-development, man. Like, he saw it as an opportunity to start growing and start working on himself to ultimately prevent what had happened to our family, you know, the broken family. And I don't want to say, like broken family. Like, I was taken care of. You know, my parents, without a doubt, both extremely loved me. I never went without anything, so I don't want anybody to sit here and think I came from a broken home, but you know, just it wasn't how God intended a family to be, and I've definitely experienced that. So he turned to self-development, and he got me in the gym at 11 years old, man. And the amount of people who would tell you lifting early is bad for your growth, bad for your health, it's false. It's false. Get in the gym. Have your kids get in the gym as early as possible. But got me in the gym at 11, and I was fighting it. You know, I was 11 years old. Like, I didn't want to be in the gym. Wanted to be playing Fortnite and Call of Duty and other shit. Like, I did not want to be in the gym. But he just kept pushing me. I mean, just accountability. And so it caused a lot of friction in our relationship, but we were just best friends. So it really didn't matter. We fought through it. We got through it. And God just blessed me with a brother who has ultimately been a mentor and a leader in my entire life. I tell everybody he's my hero. So that's a little bit there, I guess.
That's sick, dude. What was the relationship like before the divorce with your brother? Were you guys always close, or did that that change, that monumental moment, bring you guys a lot closer?
Yeah, we were always pretty close, just because we're so similar. I mean, everything. We both, athletes, just literally the exact same archetype, if you will, same personality. So we were pretty close, but the divorce definitely brought us a lot closer. With my dad leaving, Mitch, he kind of stepped in and I don't want to say raised me because my parents were very much involved, but he was there for me in the day-to-day. He sheltered me from all that was going on. He played the back and forth game with my parents of that constant battle. It's like if anybody's from a divorced family, like you understand, like parents just start battling for everything. It's a battle for time. Maybe not all, but this was how mine was. It's a battle for time. It's a battle for energy, a battle for money. It's a battle for everything. So he really sheltered me from all of that. And yeah, we grew so close. He was taking me to practices, to games, to tournaments. We were in the gym training together. So we definitely grew a lot closer because of the divorce.
And you mentioned God already a couple times here and being blessed. Were you religious growing up, or is that something that you found later on in life?
Yeah, so my grandpa is a pastor. He's been a pastor for over 40 years, and he is a pastor of a small church in my hometown. But my dad worked night shift, so going to church on Sundays, we didn't really go. So we didn't pray. We didn't really go to church, but I very much knew that God was real. And it was actually when I was 11, the day that I found out my parents got divorced. That's like the first, I believe, encounter I've ever had with God. So I came home from school one day, just like every other day, sprint off the bus. I'm decked out in neon. Whoever let me
Had
dress
the
like that.
elite socks.
Yeah, I had the elite socks rocking. I'm decked out in neon. I sprint up into the house, and man, something about this day when I stepped in the house was just different. It felt like the oxygen just left the room. Childhood home was about to collapse, absolutely. So step in the room, and I'll never forget it. I can still picture it to this day. It's just one of those impact moments, exactly where my brother was sitting, where my mom was sitting, what they were wearing. Picture every detail. Both of them, tears in their eyes, and my mom just looked at me and just said, your dad is leaving us. And so I just sit down over at this old wooden desk. They're in two other spots in the room, and just tears fill my eyes, but I'm 11. I don't know what that means. I got a ton of questions, just a ton of questions. So I go back into my room. I just get down on the floor, stuffed animals around me, blue paint on the walls, like just get down on the floor, and I'm just crying. Like I don't even know what this means. And I just started speaking out to God, like just God, just help us. Like what is this? Like just God, please help us. And in that moment, I truly had conviction with those words. Like I knew my family needed help. And for some reason, it's not like I heard a verbal from God speaking to me, but I just had this like peace wash over my body. Like just this sense of like just peace that it was just going to be okay. Tears dried up and just this clarity. And I just walked back out. And I mean, obviously it wasn't just fine from there. I don't want to say that, but just had a sense of peace that everything was going to be okay. And I mean, now, a decade later, looking back, like God was absolutely working because I'm so blessed.
Oof. Powerful moment for sure. So from there, I mean, you're big in entrepreneurship now. You're obviously growing your own community, Elevate, which you're repping on your shirt there. So I guess for you, where does your entrepreneurship journey really start?
Yeah. So when I was about 14, 15, I got really into shoes, as I know you guys are. Got really into shoes.
Oh, you gotta tell the story, bro.
Yeah. So it was when I was 16. This is really when the first kind of entrepreneurial thing happened in my life. It was Black Friday, and I was 16, and I had like $1,200 in my bank account. And my grandpa, he's always been
out, bro. I had like $20.
4 figs, bro.
Bro, I was working, man. I was grinding.
Self-made thousandaire. Had a job.
4 figs. But my grandpa, he's an entrepreneur. He's owned restaurants. So he kind of No.
Oh.
Different one. 2 separate grandpas. One pastor, family, the other one family and wealth, kind of entrepreneurial route. So I went to him. I said, hey, I got $1,200. I want to go buy all these Ultra Boosts on this Black Friday sale. And will you give me some extra seed money to like invest in me? And he goes, yeah, I'll give you $300. He said, if you pay me back in a month, I won't charge you any interest. So I was like, all right, I got a month to flip these and give him $300 back, which I saw that as, that's butter. And get him $300 back for sure. So it was Wednesday before Black Friday, and I go up about a 30-minute drive to this outlet mall. And I actually talked the guy into selling me the Black Friday deal on that Wednesday, so I didn't have to deal with the crowd or anything. So I spent all $1,500, just as many Ultra Boosts as possible, emptied out the bank account, emptied my grandpa's $300. I drive back and immediately flip like 4 pairs and then take that money and go right back up and get more pairs. And so I come back and fast forward that story. I end up $2,000 in my bank account, paid my grandpa back within like the first week, and I gave 3 pairs as Christmas gifts to people in my family.
Damn.
So that was kind of where entrepreneurship for me started. I had a sneaker page on Instagram, still up
No
today.
way.
Yeah, I got it, I don't know, like close to like 1,000 followers. And it was before I even knew what social proof or testimonials or any of that was.
Yeah.
But there was this thing called Legit Check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
legit checks,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That still
That's
happens in the
still a
sneaker
thing.
community.
I got
My
out of
brother
it.
Jack does the same thing, legit check, and then all these guys are like, legit.
Worked with them legit.
It's like a social proof thread.
Totally. I was just looking back through it the other day. I was like, man, I was gathering that SP. I was like 16, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just legit check, bro.
check.
Had a ton of
This
comments.
dude's legit.
I was dealing, bro. So that's kind of where it all started.
That's awesome.
But you were, I'd say you're 14, 15, so you're just getting into high school. And you're only 20 now, and you've been, running this business for a couple years. So you didn't go to college. Was it something where by the end of high school, you kind of had your path figured out? Or like, as you're ending high school, where are you at in life?
Yeah, so baseball was everything to me.
Okay.
College baseball was my dream, man. I'd been working at it since I was 11, since my brother got me in the gym.
Dude, I sucked at baseball.
But so I'd been working at it in college baseball. Like I said, it was everything. That's what I wanted to do. But COVID, I graduated 2020. So my senior year of baseball, COVID just canceled. Entire season canceled.
That's crazy. So you were in high school during COVID.
Yeah.
You're young,
So
bro.
recent, dude.
That's crazy.
I
So-
feel old now, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I was like middle of college.
You were one of the guys that had like the high school prom canceled, and it was like a huge deal.
Didn't care about that, but yeah.
Were you thinking about playing? Like, was there an opportunity to play college baseball?
Yeah. So I had opportunity to play Division III, some Division II, but for me it was like Division I or bust in my mind. Like it was like all or nothing. And so once the season got canceled, I don't even know why. Again, I'll credit this to God, but I just had a sense of peace with just stepping away from it. I went to my coach and I was just like, yeah, that's it. That's it for me. We had like a meeting or whatever with every player, and I was like, yeah, that's just it. I'm done. And he was like, wow. He's like, I hate this for you, because he's like, you're such a good player. He's like, you definitely could have went on to the next level, but for me, I just was ready to move on. And so that left me with college or failure in a lot of people's minds, definitely in my parents' minds, college or failure. And I chose failure. I moved 2 hours north of my hometown in with my brother. We got an apartment together, and I started working at a call center. Just 10 hours of calls every day, 5-6 days a week, 10, 12 hours. And I was talking to truck drivers across the country that were delivering, coffee, apples, groceries, like whatever.
Those guys are fun to talk to.
Yeah. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but I was refining this communication skill, this ability to communicate, man. Like if you can call a guy across the country who, it's Thanksgiving and the warehouse just shut down and he's just going to have to sit in his truck for 4 days and not be able to go see his family and calm him down off the ledge, like you can absolutely speak to anyone. So I was developing this skill of communication, but obviously I still had no clear like path of where I wanted to go. I just didn't choose college. My parents didn't approve. So I just got away, moved up, and I joined this gym called Iron Valley Barbell. Zach Hummel, owner of that gym, and he became a mentor to me, and I hired him for a consultation call. So he put out a tweet, like consultation call, $200 an hour. So I texted him because we had been lifting together, going to church together. We just had a community in the gym. So I texted him and I was like, hey, I'm in, $200. Like, cool. And he's like, all right, let's just meet together. So paid him the $200 and we sat down and he's like, well, you know, what are you passionate about in life? And I said, fitness. That was all I really had. You know, all I had throughout that whole process from 11 to, at the time, 18, all I had was training, and I was training hard. So I just said fitness, and he said, all right, you want an internship, quote unquote. Essentially, that just meant scrub the toilets and put in your hours. So, yeah, I was like, hell yeah, I want an internship. So I started scrubbing toilets, working my way up there.
Like, actually?
Yeah, scrubbing the toilets and cleaning the equipment in the gym.
Wow.
That was me paying my dues, I guess.
And for those of you who don't know who Zach, is it Hummel or Hummel? Okay,
Hummel.
yeah. Guy's an absolute savage. Like, he's always running Ironmans. Matt is also a savage. I saw a video of you the other week throwing up 275 on the bench for 10 very easily.
Dude, I was telling him how I benched 225 once, and he's like, dude, I did that when I was 12. I'm like all right, bro. Like,
That's psycho. That's psycho. But when you paid him, you know, that $200, you're working at a call center, so it probably is a decent amount of money for you. Is the idea like, hey, I want to beat him? Like, I want to be the next Zach and start my own gym, and that's the path I want to see? Or were you going into the consultation like completely open-minded, like, I don't know, let's just see what this guy says?
Completely open.
Okay.
I had no idea. I just knew he was successful in my eyes. So, and he actually is one Saturday we were working out and we had our consultation scheduled for Monday. And he goes, well, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. And he goes, oh, I got you. And I was just like, all right, whatever. Like, we'll see. So, yeah, I was just completely open to legitimately whatever. And I think that this is a good lesson for all young people out there. Like, you know, Gary Vee harps on this all the time. Like, you have time. Like, I had the decision of college or failure at 18. And so many people, if I didn't have the support of my brother, I totally would have just went to college, delegated responsibility elsewhere, done the 4-year party thing, and came out with a degree in debt that I didn't even want to use. So thank God for my brother. But it's like, you don't have to have it figured out. Like, go grind, go find a skill set that you want to develop and go take it on. That's exactly what I did with training.
yeah. So you were 18 when you had that conversation with Zach?
Yeah.
And so, like, for our audience out there, a lot of them are new into the entrepreneurship space. And I feel like a lot of young guys in general can relate to just not knowing what they want to do with their life. Like, they don't know what they're passionate about. They don't know what they truly value. So, like, walk us through that conversation with Zach, and how did he help you to get clarity on where you were going with your life?
Yeah, so he just, right when I sat down, what are you passionate about? And immediately just fitness. That's just what ripped. And it was a perfect guy. He owns a gym. He trains people online, trains people in person, competes in, you know, strength competitions all over the world. So legitimately, God was working to place me in that community with the perfect mentor that I needed at the time. But it's one of those things where I was still taking action, you know, like God will work if you do. I truly believe that. So I was still taking action, trying to find my path. And he just goes, what are you passionate about? And then from there, he just started rolling. We had a whiteboard completely filled out with how I was going to go about getting into Twitter, because he was big on Twitter, getting into, you know, a newsletter, getting into training, being able to train at his gym. Like, he just started going. So it was just the perfect guy to fall into at that time.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So I feel like a lot of people, when they're graduating college or just finishing up education in general, they kind of go through a bit of an identity crisis because you're kind of on autopilot. Like, you're following and walking in the same path as everybody else. But then when you're done, you're like, oh shit, I need to figure out what I need to do in my life now. It's kind of like shit or get off the pot time. So after high school, you're working at the call center. How did you get through those 10-hour days just calling people? Was it something where you're just relying on God? Were you going through your own identity crisis? Like, what was the mindset there?
Yeah, I was definitely, once I lost baseball was my identity entirely. Once I lost that, there was definitely...
It's like Ed Milet, bro. You know his story?
Yeah,
Like Ed Milet?
Yeah.
Baseball
absolutely.
was everything for
Yeah, I
him.
love Ed.
And he lost it. And he didn't know it was crazy. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. But yeah, I had lost my identity once I lost baseball. But I wish I could say, you know, like I had some sort of like, I don't know, like missed feeling or I don't know. It's just like I just kept taking the next step. like I stopped looking so far ahead, and I just started just focusing on the next step. And thank God for the community I had around me. Community is everything, and that's why I'm building the community, because it saved my life. I truly believe that. But it's like I just focused on the next step, and looking back now, it was like, wow, like I had no idea what I was doing, but I just kept doing, and it just kept working out every step of the way. I scaled back the call center hours, went to part-time once I picked up the gym internship. So I was working there 3-4 days a week. And then this is a crazy story how I picked up my first training client in person.
Boston.
No, that's an online client. This is in person.
That's the only. Yeah. Okay.
So this lady, she calls the gym, and no one answers the gym phone. Like, this is garage gym for those that don't know, like just rough around the edges, garage gym. Like no one answers the phone. There's no systems. There's nobody's answering the phone.
No ops.
And no ops at all.
Zero ops.
No ops. And so I'm just like cleaning the bathroom, whatever. I hear the phone ring. I just, let me go answer the phone. Some lady calling, and she's like, hey, I'm coming in. You know, I want to tour the gym and potentially hire a trainer. I was like, okay, great. I'll be here. Cool. So she's en route. I hang up the phone, and I'm like freaking out. You know, I'm tweaking. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be my first client. Like, here we go. So I call my brother. I'm like, hey, dude, how much should I charge this lady? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, he goes, well, what do you think about $30 a session? I'm like, all right, great. So she comes in, and I'm just hiding from the sale. Hiding from it, bro. Like,
She's got total frame.
she's got total frame. I'm hiding from the sale. And I'm walking her through like the contract just to get a membership. I'm showing her around the gym. And then it kind of comes down to the part where I can't hide from the sale anymore. And she's like, yeah, so how about training? And I'm like, yeah, $50 a session. Just out of nowhere. We agreed on 30, me and my brother. And for some reason, I just ripped 50. She goes, that's it?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep.
oh, hell yeah. Like, here we go. So she closes on 3 sessions a week. $600 a month, dude. I am ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. Like, I went from, Joey always makes the reference, my roommate, he always makes the reference of counting deodorant swipes with how broke you are. Like, I was that broke. And so $600 a month, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. But at the time, like looking back again, just some random lady, middle-aged woman just calls the gym. Like, the coincidence is just unreal to not chalk it up to God, in my opinion. So that's how I got the first in-person. This big B on my leg is the first online.
Yeah, I want to tell that story, dude.
Dude, I'll tell the story.
Because
So,
it's not having anything to do with you being
Not
a
even a
Red
Red
Sox
Sox
fan,
fan.
right?
not
Yeah.
a Red Sox fan. Massive B on my leg. Dude, it's a great conversation starter, though, because they're like, you must be a massive Red Sox fan. I'm like, nope. Nope. They're like, oh, your name. Like, they always go to your name start with a B. I'm like, nope. No, not that one.
Are
So
you just a psycho?
yeah, just crazy.
Are you a blood?
It's font 39. It's just font 39, bro. Like, guy showed me some B's. I said, I'll take font 39. Like, had no idea.
Just give me a letter. Pick a letter.
So it's this is 2021. I probably have like 1,000 followers on Twitter around the time, somewhere around there. And I just put out a tweet, like, I'm trying to just make money online. You know, I see a bunch of people making this internet money, and I'm like, you know what? I got to get in on this. Like, I need a taste of this internet money. So I put out a tweet, and I'm like, I will make you a custom training program. Just shoot me a DM. And I have this guy, his name's Joe. Shout out Joe. He's the man. But he shoots me a DM, and he's like, hey, how much for a program? I'm in. And I'm like, $50, but like asking him a bunch of questions in the DMs. So he's telling me all this stuff about himself. And I'm like, you know what? I think you'd be better with some one-on-one coaching. Like, $50 program ain't gonna serve you, bro. Like, how about a one-on-one coaching? He's like, sure. How much is that? I'm like, ooh, I don't know. $200 a month. Text that back. He's like, all right, sure, let's do it. So now I got nothing in play. Like, I got no system for how I'm gonna serve this guy. I just got the knowledge in my head, and
Get a tattoo and then figure it out.
so I got no system for how I'm gonna serve this guy. Just a passion to serve him. So I set him up on a Google Doc, and I just start ripping his training program on this Google Doc. I share it over to him. I'm like, all right, here's the Google Doc. We'll get on a call whenever you need to. Just let me know. We'll jump on. So he starts working out. Things are going great. And probably 6 months later, he's like, hey, why don't you fly up here and to Boston? He lives in Boston. He's like, why don't you fly up here and let's hang out, you know, train for a week, do some ice baths, some things like that, do some hard shit, eat some steaks. Like, And I was like, yeah, I'm in. So I booked a flight. This is August of 2021. Booked a flight. I go up, train, hang, and he surprises me with Red Sox Yankees tickets. I'm a big baseball guy, as you guys know. So Fenway, it's like right before the postseason, so the energy was just absolutely electric. And Fenway, I mean, if anybody knows baseball, you know Fenway. Yeah. So we go to this game. It's just electric trip. The whole trip was awesome. First time I got to work with a client in that setting, you know, like that, flying out. Just amazing, like confidence boost, identity boost. Like I'm an entrepreneur now, you know? So on that trip, we are walking around Boston and I'm like, why don't we get tattoos? Like, let's get matching tattoos. He's like, no, that's just not for me. And I'm like, all right, I'll get one. So I'm like, went out to the Boston Bee. So I go sit down in this tattoo shop and they're like, yeah, it's going to be a while. So doesn't work out. I end up leaving, fly back. And then probably 6 months later, fast forward to March of 2022, this is when I'm able to quit the call center, leave the gym, and go all in online. So 6 months later after that. So I'm going all in. So I quit my job on a Thursday. Friday, I turn around and get this big B tatted on my leg just to represent gaining that online client, that first one. Like, I can't go back now. Like what's this story going to be if I fail? So it's just like all in. Just massive B. I went in and he even printed out like a small B. He's like, how's this look? I was like, no, way bigger, bro. He prints out this big one. I'm like, yup, let's do it. So just that, I mean, that's the story of the B.
Did it hurt?
No.
Really?
No. I already have two, so I knew what to expect.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's a ballsy move. We were talking about it yesterday. I was like, you have a B on your leg just to signify that you're going all in on your own business. Like, you can't go work at the Sonic now. If you were to work like a normie job from here on out, people would be like, dude, what's with the tattoo? And you just be like, yeah, big sigh, big sigh. So no, I respect that, man. That's awesome.
It's cool, man, because I feel like a lot of guys that get into entrepreneurship and even in faith, there was a devotional that I was reading like 2 weeks ago where it's like a lot of people go into expecting some huge revelation and some like massive turning point to happen in their lives, but that's never really the case. It's more of the day-to-day grind. And there's also a quote that I have above my work desk back at the office. My bedroom, really. The office sounds way cooler saying that. But it says, live in the day, measure by the decade. And that it sounds like that's really what your success formula was show up every single day, put in the work. And it just kind of led to where you're at now, right? With being able to make the transition from the call center, being able to go all in on what you want to do in entrepreneurship. And I think that's just really cool to hear because, again, a lot of people are waiting for that big moment, and that might delay the action that they can be taking every single day. And so maybe talk about how you're able to stay energized, committed, curious throughout, you know, the 2 or 3 years that you had to go through without being on your own in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so again, when my parents got divorced when I was 11, my brother, he turned to self-development. He really got into motivational speakers like Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson. And there was one speech from Eric Thomas that just we would play all the time in the gym, in the headphones, all the time. I still go back to it occasionally today, but he just said, you will not be successful until I don't have to give you a dime to do what you do. And for me, that is what keeps me going today, ultimately, is because, like, you didn't have to give me a dime back then. Like when I was first starting out, 18-hour days of waking up, training a client at 6 a.m., training myself, and then going ripping 10 hours at the call center, like making no money, just broke. Like you didn't have to give me a dime. So now my day-to-day is easy. How I got through it before, I think just God. Ultimately, man, like it may sound corny, may sound cheesy to people, but I just had a passion to serve. Like I had a passion and conviction to serve. And I will say I carried this chip on my shoulder for everyone who doubted me. Like I'm a big fan of Andy Frisella. And he's always got this phrase of 100-0. It's actually the lock screen on my phone, just 100-0. Like this competition, just chip on my shoulder. Like I'll just demolish everyone, run up the score. So everyone who doubted me with not going to college, you know, I got both my parents literally looked me dead in the face and said, you're not going to be successful if you don't go to college. And everyone in my hometown, you know, I came from a small town. You guys get it. Like everybody knows everything. So if you make that choice, like it spreads fast. So I just got a ton of negative feedback from that decision, a ton of doubt, ton of haters, if you will. So it's kind of like just a fuck the haters mentality. And I had somebody who was doing it in Zach. Like I had somebody who was doing it, so I knew it was possible. Like I saw the path, and this way, I was so fortunate to get in that space with Zach. But like if somebody doesn't have somebody around them that's doing it, like I highly recommend. Again, I know everybody says that, like, go find somebody who's doing it and learn from them. Like, but it's true. Like go find somebody who's doing it, because you will have this like right now in entrepreneurship, if you don't see anybody who's doing it, yeah, you see the guys online, but it's just not the same. You need to go see how they live their life if you can. And again, I classic story of scrubbing the toilets just to get around somebody, like exactly what I did. But it'll knock down so many barriers and so many limiting beliefs when you can just get around somebody who is doing it.
100%. It just makes you realize that it's possible. Because beforehand, like my view of entrepreneurship, even though we had entrepreneurs in our family, was just like you apply for like a Teal Fellowship, right? Or
It's
you
like,
have
what's
this
the big idea?
Yeah, you write the business plan, you apply for funding, and then you get around people who are like a little closer to, you know, not necessarily $1 billion company, but somewhere in between and more folks in your space. You're like, oh, okay, these people are just like me. They just kept taking that next step and the next step and the next one. So no, I really like that. And then another thing that I just want to commend you for, because I went through like a super similar situation with football. Like that was kind of my whole identity, but I was like D1 or bust. I had like a couple preferred walk-ons, but mainly like D2, D3 were the ones that really wanted me. And I didn't have the courage to go straight into entrepreneurship. I went to college to kind of like buy myself time. I knew I wanted to do entrepreneurship, but what you said like really like struck a chord with me about being in a small town everybody knows. I know that if I was in a small town or like in my small town, if I didn't go to college, everybody would have been like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with Dan? Like, what's he doing? So
Totally.
Did you hear that? Did that get to you in that phase of your life, or did you just block it out? Like, how'd that work?
Yeah, so I definitely lost a lot of people. Like I don't have any, like you guys had these tight relationships, I feel like from years. I lost like all my high school relationships except ultimately for one or two people. But yeah, it definitely was getting to me. But again, I got immersed in this community in Iron Valley Barbell that was, you know, Zach, my brother, and all these other strong leaders that were just coming into the gym. And I started networking on Twitter with other guys. And we had guys flying in to train at our gym and do one-on-ones with Zach, retreats, whatever. So we had guys flying in all the time. So I was able to just block it out because of the environment that I had placed myself in or got fortunate enough to be placed in. But I don't think if I would have just got out of my hometown, I think I would have been sucked right back in. I think I would have ultimately ended up going to college. So just getting out of there, getting out of that environment, game changer. I highly recommend if anybody's still in their hometown, struggling, trying to start a business, I get it. Like you got bills to pay. Maybe you're living with your parents or living with somebody. I did it. It's like, just get out, get a new environment. It's a fresh start. It's new energy. It's a new identity, new beliefs. So yeah, I really think the community that I was around saved it for me, dude.
That's so funny because I went to Miami for a couple of reasons. I mean, there were some nice things about that
Like
school.
what, bro?
Stay hard. But no, that because I knew if I stayed in my hometown, everybody would be like, yo, why aren't you playing football? Like, what's wrong with you? And I actually didn't move back. There were some like financial aid issues until we had already had plans to start a company. And it was like in the works pretty much. So I relate to that a lot. And I think a lot of people are probably sitting there like, if I am 18, 19, I probably don't have the option to move away from that making money. You had your brother, so you were lucky for that.
Totally.
But Twitter and just finding a community online, that's accessible to everybody. So I know that you had guidance from Zach, but what did like the early days on Twitter look like for you? How did you like shape what your brand was supposed to be, and like just walk us through that experience?
Dude, just raw. Nothing. I didn't have any plan of how to tweet, who to tweet at. You know, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just in an environment where I was lifting heavy shit and posting about it. And that
tell them why you're comfortable posting videos.
Oh yeah, so I started two reasons. I started a vlog when I was 17, posted 5 videos. Man, I wish I would have stuck with that. Be 3 years in right now, it'd be crazy, but that fell off. But I would just practice for hours on introing videos, like just in my room, and I think that was one thing that helped me get over what my hometown thought about me. Because I posted 5 videos while I was still in high school. Dude, I got so much crap for posting these shitty YouTube videos, like of me doing workouts, slonking raw eggs. I was totally slonking the raw eggs. I was an OG to that. Like, come on. But yeah, so I just was practicing for hours, like when you're trying to record a video and you just keep repeating and it just stacks up in your camera roll. Like, that was my entire camera roll of just like 20, 30 videos of just, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, welcome back to another YouTube video. Like, today we're going to be slonking eggs and lifting heavy shit. All right, let's do it. So just practice, going back, deleting them all. Not good enough. Going back, deleting them all. Just not good enough. And so that, and then another reason is when I had this call center job, like the only way I stayed positive in that job was seriously through music. Like, it's crazy how much music has affected my life. But I was driving to the job and I would always be just jamming out to whatever. I like sad music. Joey hates on me for it, but I like sad music, NF, Post Malone, like that kind of vibe. Yeah, country, yeah, totally. So
You guys should run to Morgan Wallen tonight.
We're thinking about it.
We've
Run
actually
around the
done zero
concourse.
music up to this point. We're just
We haven't had
Just
headphones
raw
in or nothing.
silence.
You could probably hear him from outside the amphitheater if you get
Oh,
close
dude,
enough.
we should run over there. That'd be pretty lit.
It's probably
I'm
way
saying
too far.
10 miles away, dude.
what else we got to do? Just running.
We bring lawn chairs and just like camp after 4.
Yeah. But so I would record myself singing on the way to this job every day, Instagram story every day, and I got it from my brother. He would do the same thing. So I was just following leadership, and yeah, I would just record myself singing, post it up. I was trying to pick up girls, obviously. I won't lie. Every single day, new singing video, and that got me over just what anyone thinks about my videos, dude. Like, you can
And
imagine.
that's what I wanted to get at is when you're speaking on video, reality is, regardless of how many people in your hometown were talking shit, nobody cares that much about you, right? It's like everybody's sucked into their own little world. So if you can get over what you think about yourself, because most of the time, like, you're just projecting, right? And you kind of like think you're cringier than anybody else does, right? That's like the first step, and it just makes everything so much easier. So once you get comfortable speaking on video, it's just like a superpower because you just defeated your biggest critic, which is usually yourself.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about projecting. Like, dude, everyone who is hating on you, they are simply just projecting their insecurities of a stagnant life that they live. Like, if they're hating on you for making moves in entrepreneurship or for posting content or whatever you're doing, if they're hating, it's all a projection of their insecurity. Like, people just don't want to see you do better than them. It's not that they don't want to see you do good. I found that. It's like, I want to see you do good, just not better than me. So when you start taking action, you start making these money moves, it's like people are just going to start projecting like crazy. And once you can understand that, it's like they're just projecting their insecurities. It's not going to happen.
AndreHakeljr.com.
What?
Scammer cock.
Village.
Yeah,
What did it
total
say?
projection.
Village
Total
idiot.
Village idiot. That
Yo, that
guy
shit
is a
was so
weirdo.
funny.
Just to give the audience some context, there's this guy who's squatting on all of our IP and trying to extort us.
Yeah. So if you go to AndreHakel.com,
It's been fun.
No, AndreHakeljr.com. That's not.
Just
me.
don't go.
Just don't go there.
Save your time.
I'm in the process of changing my name completely.
Dumbest scammer ever.
What should I actually? What should I change my name to?
What?
Like, I'm gonna legally change my name so I could get
Andre.
Andre.
Oh,
What do you say? Andre
Andre,
Hakel
bro.
Jr. Maybe I'll just do
DeAndre?
Andre Hakel the second. That'd be way cooler, actually.
DeAndre
oh,
Hayden.
dude, just take your middle name as your first name. Barbar Hakel.
Barbar Hakel.
That goes
That's
stupid.
That goes
That's your middle
super
name?
hard. Barbar, yeah.
Wow.
Just be DeAndre.
He's
He's
Yeah,
got,
my
you've
grandfather's
got,
name.
you've got
Lebanese, for
6
sure.
brothers.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
6 brothers, and all of them have that same middle name.
Yeah.
Barbar.
Yeah.
Dude, your big family is crazy.
Yeah.
Blows me
Yeah.
away.
Dude, what I want to talk more about though with you is like your faith, right? So I think that's why we got really connected is because I felt like your conviction is so strong. You've mentioned God like multiple times throughout this episode, and I feel like listening to interviews or even like athletes after a big win or an achievement, they always credit to God, and a lot of people kind of are like, yeah, that's cool, and they write it off as like not a big deal. But like, I guess, what does that actually mean to you for the audience listening? Like, I feel like there's an opportunity to go deeper into what faith and religion and God actually is, because I feel like in the general media, it's really surface level.
Yeah, so I think the best way to explain it for me is just like this phrase that I always say of just God is working. Like, just God is working. And again, it goes back to my story. Like, just the people that have been placed in my life and the things that have happened. It's too undeniable to not acknowledge God's presence in all of those moments for me. Like, having a brother who just led me so incredibly well and still does, and getting dropped off into that community under Zach, just the perfect guy that I needed to mentor me, like to finding Joey just DMing me randomly one day, on Twitter. Now we're best friends. We live together down here in Florida. He was from Cleveland. I was from Indiana. Just like so many people and so many things have happened that are just so supernatural that I just couldn't keep denying God's presence in my life. So that's really how faith kind of started for me. Aside from, again, this community in Indy, they were going to church. I was going to church with them. I wasn't getting much from it, though. I was just there to check a box. I knew I needed to be going to church. I knew I needed to be doing those things. And I wasn't getting much from it. But this is the story that really changed everything for me. And I've already started writing this book. The 6 Other Days of the Week is the title. So it was one day, my brother, we were talking, and he just goes, "Why do people wear their Sunday best to church?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, they just want to show up looking good for God, at church. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's it to you?" And he's like, "Well, God sees you the 6 other days of the week." And I was like, because for me in faith, I had viewed it as a barrier to entry, right? Like, I got to be somebody before I can have faith. I got to be somebody before I can say I'm a Christian. Like, I can't be taking these sinful actions and have a relationship with God, right? Like, it clearly says in the Bible, you just can't do that. And I was so far from the truth. I had this big barrier to entry. I'm like, I don't pray. I'm not into the Bible. I just check the box at church. Like, who am I to say I'm faithful and have a relationship with God? But when he said, God is with you the 6 other days of the week, just something clicked for me. Just God is in everything. God is in all. And so I started taking that into my call center job. Had the call center job at the time. I was like, well, if God is in everything, that means he's in this podcast right now. That means he's in my interaction when I step into work and I can just make somebody smile. Like, relationships is everything to me. So it's like, that was my avenue to grow my relationship with God by just spreading that light. So I started praying as I walked into my job, just, God, get me out of this job. Number one, like, I really want to be an entrepreneur. Are you hearing this? All right, cool. And then number 2, like, God, just allow me to be a beacon of your light inside of here. So I stepped in there, and ever since I started praying that prayer, man, my relationships inside of there just started going way deeper. And I legitimately walked in like LeBron into the Staples Center, Crypto Center, whatever it is now.
Christian's favorite athlete.
Yeah, LeBron James, the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
For that powder in there.
Christian's about to walk out.
But
The Warriors just emptied the powder thing at the arena.
I saw
That was
that. That was
hilarious.
funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he tried to
was
do it,
pouring
it's
it out in
gone.
his hand. He was like, "What the? There's nothing coming out."
He still does that before games?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I just started walking in there and just like complimenting everyone. Just like, hey man, you look great today. Like, dude, nice fade. Like, man, you've been working out. Like, how's the family? Like, just relationship development, just spreading light like crazy.
You didn't tell me you like my fade, bro.
Bro, your fade is clean, man. It's always been clean. I thought you just knew.
No, I
That's so
agree with
important,
Just randomly
too.
complimenting people, like, you don't know how much of an impact that has on someone.
Yeah.
Especially at like a traditional office with cubicles and it's a call center and everybody's depressed. Like that makes a giant difference in those
You just
people's
made
lives.
Ed's day, man.
Totally.
I haven't been called handsome in 5 years. Thank you, bro.
Like,
my wife doesn't even call
Judy's
me
been on a
handsome.
diet for 3 days and you're the only one that noticed.
She got her
looking
hair done.
snatched.
Totally. And like you said, like, I realized I hate this job. No one likes this job.
Yeah.
No one wants to be here except for the CEO who's raking stacks. Like, no one else wants to be here. Like, I don't even think he wanted to be there. But so I was like, okay, I can be this light for these other people. Like, yeah, I could sit here and suffer in misery with them, or I could try to bring them up. And that's exactly what started happening. I was just spreading light, spreading love. And I wish I could say I started developing this crazy relationship with God just so fast. I definitely didn't. But I started seeing how he was working. Started seeing the opportunities. It's like, oh, I'm really developing a communication skill at this job. Now I'm developing, how to, go deeper with relationships at this job. Like, asking people these deep questions. And you know, I truly believe that's my unique skill and gift. And I think that's why I'm so good at harboring community, is because of just the depth that I can take relationships simply from a call center job that I thought was a waste of my life. Now looking back, I understand that was the biggest thing that I ever could have done, was go work at a call center. It was the best thing I could have done, was develop that skill of communication and relationship development.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. One of the questions that I've always wanted to ask you is like relationships in general, whether it be with girls or with family members or with employees, team members, clients, students. Like, what would your pieces of advice be to go deeper and to build those deeper than the surface level? Because I feel like it's hard for most people to build meaningful relationships with those people in their lives.
Yeah, I think number one, love. As cheesy as that sounds, love. And then number two, vulnerability. And when I say love, like, love creates a sense of security in a relationship. Like you said, when you just drop that compliment and somebody smiles, you're different. There's a sense of security in that relationship. And then when there's security, that vulnerability can step in. But back to love, like just giving somebody a hug. Like, just walk up, give you a hug. Like, I love you, bro. Like, genuinely meaning that. And that's something I experienced so well in that community in Indy. Like, there was a genuine connection. Like, we hugged each other tight, like, intentionally. And so we were intentional with how we communicated. Like, I love you. Like, I truly love you. Like, thank you for being in my life. And that's something that I've seen so well with Joey and I. You know, we lived together. And just like, you know, the roommates in the marriage, if you will, like, we were intentional about avoiding that in our friendship. It's like, we don't just want to be roommates in this friendship. Like, so, you know, one of us will cook, one of us will do the dishes, but it's like, hey, thank you for doing the dishes. Like, I truly appreciate that. Like, just taking that extra second.
Take notes, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I was at your guys' place.
You're literally the same as me.
No, I know.
Eesh.
Yeah. Also, can I comment on that? Like, that's just unheard of coming from New York. Like, if you ask somebody, like, do you love me? They'd be like, why the fuck you asking? Like, it's just like,
yeah,
it's very different. Makes sense though. Why it's like, it's obviously going to build stronger relationships. It's just coming from the Northeast. That's not something that people do ever.
I think it's just an ego thing.
Yeah,
like,
it definitely is.
Like, oh, I don't need to be loved. Like, I'm good. I take care of myself. Like, I'm good. Like, no, we all need to hear it. Like, Christian clearly wants to hear that his fade looks good today. Like, but we all want those
self-satisfaction, man, please.
Yeah, like we all want those compliments. Like, you want the affirmation. Like, it's a human nature, like,
It's a human need.
desire. So, like, if you can start just something so simple as a hug. I love you. You look good, bro. Like, dang, dude. Like, thank you for doing that. Like, that'll create that safe, secure space. And then this is where the real work starts to happen. Vulnerability. Like, we've experienced this so much. You know, we went to Nashville on that retreat, the DK retreat. Shout out to those guys for putting that on. And just 12 guys in a room, just getting extremely vulnerable, deepest fears, biggest struggles. Like, if you go through vulnerability and struggle with somebody else, I mean, look at this with the Goggins 4x4x48. This is vulnerable. We're getting out there, we're running, we're not sleeping, and we're running 48 miles. Like, we're getting vulnerable with each other, and this is going to build that relationship for us. So, vulnerability, and with vulnerability, understanding that leaders go first. Like, leaders go first in everything. Like, don't expect to have a deep relationship if you're not willing to sacrifice yourself, put yourself on the line of like, hey man, I'm really struggling with this. Like, so many people think they're going to develop their relationships by being like this strong, like, symbol in the relationship. Like, I got you. It's like, yeah, you need to be that at times, but you got to have discernment. When do I need to be vulnerable? When do I need to be strong? If you can play that game and go back and forth, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, it's going to be hard conversations. If all you and your boys talk about is girls in the games, like, yeah, it's going to be hard to do. Like, genuinely, it's going to be hard to sit down and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with in my life. Something deeper is going on. I'm genuinely struggling. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I think if you have enough respect and love there, which I know you guys do here, it's like you're going to receive it well, and then they're going to come back with something that they're struggling with every single time. You guys are connected, and it's just going to keep getting easier and easier and easier.
Whew. Deep, man. That's like a episode of Billions where Chuck tells he's talking to like one of his people that he's mentoring, but he's like, actually the strongest way to build a relationship is to ask somebody for a favor that you know that they can fulfill on. because people want to feel like that
Like they're
sense of
serving.
accomplishment that they're serving you.
Yeah.
That they did a good thing, which is very counterintuitive. But
Chuck Rhodes,
Chuck Rhodes,
interesting guy.
slimy guy, but great character. You guys want to talk about the challenge?
Hey, how's it going? I want to ask some questions because I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. So, what's the biggest struggle so far? Physical injury?
Dude, for me, I think it's the
Fatigue?
time in between each run.
Yeah.
Like I don't like
Are
sitting
you anxious
around.
looking forward to the next one?
Yeah, well, I'd rather get it done faster,
Yeah.
I think. So the challenge, for those of you that don't know, it's 4 miles every 4 hours. So typically at this point for us, we're averaging like 40 to 50 minutes for each leg of the 4 miles. So we're waiting around for like 3 hours to do the next one. And like you sit down, you get some sleep. Like, I don't know if that's the best practice for like muscle recovery. Like I feel sore when I get up from 3 hours of rest more than I do after the run. That's the hardest thing for me so far.
Yeah, it's definitely just like that soreness stacking up on you because yesterday we walked like close to 30,000 steps. Today we'll do probably close to 60. So it's like if you've ever walked 20, 30,000 steps, like your feet are sore, your knees are sore, your lower back's probably a little sore. It just all stacks up, but usually you just recover the next day, right? It's like that. And then the next day is twice as hard. And then the following day is as hard as it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it's just like the continuation and just like giving your joints and your muscles absolutely no break. More of a mental thing though, because I think right now it's just kind of like general fatigue from no sleep and joint soreness. It's not like it's tough to make the time, right? You can walk the whole thing if you want.
Totally. Yeah, I think for me, just that joint soreness, the aches, and like the time, right? So it's like, okay, when we're done, do we try to just get right to sleep, or are we trying to eat and like refuel? Like,
Yeah.
just balancing that. We don't have any strategy. We didn't train for this. I'd like to just preface with that. Like,
I feel
none
like
of
we
us
could've done
trained. We
more
just did a
prep.
couple.
We've been doing
runs.
good with the nutrition, I feel like, though. We've been all slamming salt,
Yeah,
coconut
we've been doing
water.
great. We got the liquid IV in the cup over here, purple drink, but it's been a ton of fun, I think. But yeah, the joint soreness has definitely been the hardest part.
Yeah, we got obviously nobody here is smoking a cigar today. Wanted Christian to do one for the brand, but it wasn't feeling it either.
Not feeling it.
Not the real stick talk.
That'll be the next one. We'll be the first people ever to smoke a full cigar and complete the challenge with Christian.
Let's just
when he
complete
does
the
that.
challenge first, all right?
Oh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna
Butter.
do it.
What are you guys doing to celebrate when you finish?
Sleeping.
Getting a Nutella croissant from the Edition. Bro, that thing looks so good. We made a huge mistake yesterday. After the first run, there was 3 hours. That was the first break. We had no idea what to do with ourselves. So we just went to the Edition for coffee or whatever. And they have Nutella croissant, macaroons,
He said macaroons.
Hey, we got one too.
Straight from France. Macaroons.
they got like
Clearly
challah bread.
macaroons.
It's like the best bakery ever. And I'm like, dude, this sucks because I don't think I should be eating any of this, except we did have one. But it also set the tone for, dude, when you finish this thing, that's exactly where I'm going to be.
Absolutely.
Not smoking a cigar. I'll be the first person to pop in a Zen though. Complete it.
For the brand.
Yeah, need the stimmies.
The question, though, I think that's really important to ask here, and I also struggled with this for a long time until, like, meeting more people in the space is, like, what's the point? Like, why do something like that? And we've been asked, like, every time we've brought it up to, like, a waiter at a restaurant or someone serving us coffee, like, why? Like, are you training for something? Are you competing? It's like, no, we're just doing it for fun. So, like, I guess as an outsider, it doesn't really make sense. Why would you go through that suffering? Why would you put your body through that much pain and pressure on just a random weekend without any reward on the other end that's like tangible or that, you know, other people can see and understand? Like, what do you say to yourself, or what do you say to people out there asking that question?
Yeah, I think it all comes back to relationships again. Like, obvious opportunity to build the relationships with you guys, and we got guys online doing it as well, texting them, building a relationship with them. But
Shout out Listags.
Yeah, shout out Max Stanton, Listax on Instagram. Shout out Peyton. Who else we got?
Nick?
Anybody else?
Nick Marsh.
Nick Marsh,
I think
Gut
that's-
Health dude.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I think that's it for this
All the
weekend.
soldiers out there. Go ahead.
But yeah, I think on top of those relationships, like the relationship with self, you know, like that's the second most important relationship you can have, but just that ability to follow through on your word, like to go through and say, I'm going to do something this hard, like the 4x4x48. And, you know, we all three have no option of quitting. Like, it's just not going to happen. We'll crawl before we quit. Like, genuinely, I can see that in all three of us. Like, we will crawl out there before we quit. Just keeping your word to yourself, you know, that's the biggest thing for self-confidence, for self-discipline. Like, so many people, you know, I'm going to hit the gym tomorrow at 5 a.m., wake up, don't hit the gym. You know, oh, I'm going to eat that healthy meal. Wake up, don't eat the meal. It's like you don't even respect yourself enough to respect your own word and to follow through on your own word. So this is an opportunity to just strengthen that relationship with ourselves and what we say we're going to do. Like, I'm going to, you know, hit that big month, or I'm going to hit the gym or do whatever, like ask that girl out, like whatever it is. Like, if you can get conviction through struggles like these, it'll carry over into everything for that self-confidence and just that relationship with God here. I think it's just so much opportunity in this to be present, like you were saying. Like, you know, when you're out there running, dude, like your mind is seeking escape. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, can we do this? Can we walk? Like, can we get on our phone? Like, I'm just seeking escape, seeking comfort, seeking cheap dopamine. And like you said, it forces you to be present in the moment. There's nothing else you can think about than every single step, that knee pain or that breath you're trying to catch, like just as you're moving through that. So it forces you to be completely present. And I think when you're completely present, you know, you're with yourself, you're with your own thoughts. And I think you can really connect with God when you find that complete presence. So much of this world is just distractions. You know, we go from, you know, work block to work block, or call to call, or, you know,
Slack messages, text messages.
Yeah. Social media posts to the next scroll, to the next game, to the next, you know, party, to whatever it is. Like, it's just distraction. But what happens when you truly have to sit with yourself and be present for an extended period of time? You know, we're scared of that. We're scared of what thoughts and insecurities and fears are going to come out, especially when you're pushing yourself to the absolute limit with something like this. And it's hard. It hurts. Like, you're scared of what's going to come to the surface. So, but it's great because you can work through those thoughts. You know, you can work through, wow, I really want to quit right now, but I got to keep going. And like I said, it builds those relationships. Just it's nothing like it.
Yeah. No, it's a great answer. A lot of the same things for me, honestly, like getting closer to you guys, getting closer to God, but also with that relationship with yourself. It's just also going to make everything seem easier in comparison.
Bro, exactly.
That's a big reason why I did it, because work's been feeling a little bit kind of tough lately, like long days, and I'm getting like tired from sitting all day and working on my laptop. So I'm like, okay, if I can do this, then next time I get in that, you know, zone where I'm like, oh, it was so hard, I took like 15 Zoom calls today, I'd be like, all right, you know, quit being a bitch. You'd much rather be doing this than running another 24 miles. So that was a big reason why when he asked me to do it, I didn't really hesitate. I was kind of just like, yeah, I need something like this right now. So
yeah, that total presence is so important, because I feel like as entrepreneurs, we're sitting in front of the computer, like you said, going from message to message, conversation to conversation, social media post, and you're just not ever really present. And one of my favorite quotes, like about religion, is like, when we're busy, God is quiet, right? And like the devil also will attack those that are busy, right?
Devil's been attacking us, bro.
Oh,
See those
dude.
blondes walking by when we're running?
Yeah.
Brother.
That ain't the
Brother.
devil, that's the gospel right there. Bro.
Yeah, dude, honestly, the hardest run so far, Christian, you'll appreciate this, but it was last night at 10 p.m. That was, for me, the hardest run, because that's when everyone is out. Everyone's having a great time. The river walk is packed. Like, we're literally having to skirt by everyone. You could just tell everyone's having a great time. We're passing by the Addition, and people, like, I heard someone chirp at us. They're like, pick up the pace, boys. And we're like, if only you knew, you little shit.
I'm like, Dan's wearing a wife beater. Why are you talking shit?
But it's like, dude, I was right there like last weekend. And so that one is tough. It's going to be even tougher tonight because of the fatigue, and it's going to be exactly the same situation.
Run by
if I see that guy again,
it's on
Phil McGregor on him.
Yeah.
I'll slap the hit off you, boy.
Yeah.
I'll slap you around, bro.
Yeah, but the presence, dude, it's so powerful. Like,
Yeah.
I think, Christian, you tweet about this all the time, and you're really good at this. I struggle with this, at least in the day to day, but like, thinking is working, right?
Yep.
And for me, like, I'm always just so caught up in conversations. I'm so in my head. I'm just so behind on emails and just trying to do everything that I never give myself time to think. And so like this is more of like for me a spiritual journey of like seeing where I'm at right now. And like who talks about like the airdrops? Forget who specifically.
Daniel's.
Logue Fitz. Yeah, he'll be like airdrops. Like, dude, like I'm getting these airdrops throughout this entire experience of like like I said, I feel like specifically from God is like you got to do this. Here's where you got to show up better in your life. Here's where you got to focus more. Here's what's going really well. And so it's just providing so much clarity for me and where I'm at.
Amen to that, bro. Amen to that.
Yeah, every single person I've told in my family, they're just like, "Why are you doing this? Like, what's the point?"
My
family-
mom's
so
like,
hard.
it's not safe.
Yeah, I'm like that. It being very difficult. That's the entire point. Like, it has nothing to do with physical fitness. It's literally all just I'm doing it to prove to myself that I can, and I'm gonna intentionally opt into all this discomfort and pain because you know that growth is on the other side.
My family
So-
gets it. Like they totally get it.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing, I don't want to say like hard stuff like this all the time, but like competing in like strength competitions, like deadlifting 600 pounds, carrying 300-pound sandbags, like just physically pushing myself for the last 2 years. And I've seen so much growth from this. So it's like when I say something like this, they're like, oh, cool, just another thing he's going to do. But like this is only the beginning for us. Like we've been, Andre and I have been talking about what's next. And I kind of want to get into that because I think that's just so interesting. I've never heard anyone do this. We're going to do a 12-hour prayer. It's like, how committed are you to your faith if you can't do a 12-hour prayer? Like if it's truly a top priority, you should want to spend as much time with God as possible. And I've been getting into the Word and to Bible studies. I mean, just it's outrageous how much is on my calendar. Joey was like, "Hey man, like, don't you think you should tone it back? Like, you got a business to run." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, no, we're good. Let's keep it going."
I'll come in and like ring a gong each hour, just so you guys know where you're
Bro,
at.
you're
Just
in on it now. Like,
boom,
you've committed.
Hour one.
Yeah,
You've committed.
So
You've
I didn't
opted in.
commit to that one
Nah,
yet.
you're in.
I gotta check the good old schedule. See if Christian book a meeting with me, bro. Let me get out of this one. No, dude. If I'm
have to
around and I
excuse
feel like it's something I could use like this, like I don't know when you asked me to do this, but I was just like, yeah, like it wasn't really a second thought.
Totally.
So we'll see.
Gotta get in, bro.
I'm being filmed right now, so I can't commit unless I'm actually gonna do it.
Commit, bro.
We'll see.
He's in. I'll get him in. Don't worry.
We'll see.
Salesman gets sold.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, I can't give up frame on camera. Come on.
Frame.
We'll talk offline.
Frame.
We'll talk offline.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. I actually want to dive more into Elvt and the community that you've been building. So kind of take us back to the very beginning, and then we'll bring it to modern day because I know a lot has changed between like your intentions, how the community is all set up, the partnerships. So talk us through where the idea stemmed from, how you got started, what the journey has been like, and how you're at, or where you're at today.
Yeah. So the journey ultimately started with Joey. We founded it together. And
Just real quick, by the way, Joey Joheim is who you're referencing here. He
Yeah.
was on Stick Talk. It was episode like 8 or 12 or something in that range. So you could go back on our channel and find that interview if you're interested in knowing more about Joey, who's just a great dude.
Yeah,
So
and if you
highly recommend.
If you like Matt, if you like this podcast so far, watch that one too. They share a lot of the same values, like just really the salt of the earth Midwestern people. Like I said, the people from New York are like that. Yeah.
Corn-fed.
corn-fed.
All
beans,
American
bro.
corn fed.
Totally.
Go ahead though.
But yeah, so we it was again, he reached out and DM'd me late 2021, September, and then October we went to a Halloween college party, and we were at this college party, and one of my friends from high school, he's like, "Yeah, I flunked out like 4 or 5 days drunk every night of the week," and I'm like, "Well, why didn't you reach out? Like, dude, you know, I could have been some support for you. Like, I wasn't drinking at all, wasn't doing the whole party thing. Obviously, I'm up working the call center, like grinding, like I was saying before. So it's like, what? Like, why do you reach out? And he was like, well, I just didn't feel, you know, that vulnerability, that secure space. Like, you didn't have that. We didn't have that relationship. And so Joey and I, we just had the idea of creating a community and bringing all these guys, you know, that we had met on Twitter together. Like, we were like, we just got to get the boys together and like build together. Like, it was just perfect from what I had experienced in Indianapolis. Like, I've been so fortunate to find it in person. And yeah, I have an online community, but if you can find a community in person, like, I highly recommend. Like, it's another level than online. So yeah, we had the idea to start it just to support young guys who are wanting to take the path less traveled, to just show them that there's another path. Like there's entrepreneurship, there's faith, like there's self-development, there's growth. Like you don't have to just go, party or do whatever just to delegate responsibility. And like you said, kind of buy yourself that time. Like you can grow during that time when you don't necessarily have life figured out. Like you're not going to figure out what you want to do by just delegating responsibility and buying yourself time. Like you already had that intuition and kind of been.
No, but you're right though. And from that period post high school until we started the business, and like really it kind of changed when COVID happened because it was all online. You could, do whatever with school and focus more so on the business. I didn't develop at all as a person. Probably regressed a little bit. So I agree 100%.
What was it? Quote from Ed Milet. He said, "Purpose derives from service and growth." From serving other people and growing. So it's like, if you want to find purpose, if you're struggling to find that, like go serve other people and go start growing yourself. Like don't try to be somebody, build somebody. And so we were like, let's get all these people together. Let's bring the Twitter homies together. So we started out January 1st, 2022, and we just let some people in for free, just get it rolling. Probably like 5-10 people in the first month. Very rarely anybody was paying. We started jumping on calls and Zoom calls, sharing struggles, and just trying to drop all the information built out of Discord with supplement information, training programs, like just all the information that we could give and the value that we could provide. We just started dumping it in there. And then fast forward a little bit, Joey ends up parting ways, going with his current business partner, Gabe. That was totally mutual. We were both on that same page. Like, yeah, that was definitely his route. The Elevate thing was definitely my route. So we, again, had that mature relationship to be able to part ways. No hard feelings there. And I kept growing it. And God was just placing these people in my life. But I was going crazy with networking. Like, anybody I could DM, they liked my post, they're getting a DM. And it was not a sale. It was, hey, bro, saw you're from,
Beautiful.
Like Minnesota, Scott.
Minnesota.
Saw you're from Minnesota.
Hey, bro,
like,
love your content. Want to buy my PDF? Like, shut the fuck up.
I was genuinely just trying to help people. Like, if anybody posted about training, like I jumped on it. Like, hey, dude, saw you're trying to deadlift 500 pounds. Like, I did that. I would love to just drop you a few tips. Like, send me your deadlift, and I'll break down your form and just send it back over. Like, just complete free value in the DMs like crazy.
And those people end up buying from you anyways.
Totally. And these all converted to connection calls. So I get the Calendly, get the connection call set up, and I just like, let's just jump on a call. I can start providing free value on the calls. So I'm just networking like crazy, and that's how I'm selling people. It's just by getting on the phone, talking about myself, talking about them, talking about Elevate, and they're like, oh, I'm in. Like, let's join. Like, not a sales call, anything like that. Like, just genuine, I want to provide you value any way I can. Hey, I have this thing. If you're interested, like, if you join, cool. If not, cool. We're here to support you. And so people started joining, and then they started loving it. They started supporting it. And that's really like my core group of guys. They're still riding with me today. Like you said, they end up buying from you and they end up riding with you.
Yep.
Like, if you really develop those relationships and care about those people, like, you have to care. Like, I wanted them to see results more than I wanted to see my own results in the gym. Like, it was like, your goals. I want to see you deadlift 500 pounds, get jacked, have that confidence. Like, I don't even care about myself anymore. Putting them above me and serving them at the highest level possible. And it just grew organically like that. And had like 40 people, going into the last stint of 2022, bro. And this is like a big business failure. I don't want to say, because I learned so much from it. It wasn't a failure at all. But 60 people joined in the last 2 months of 2022. So not too long ago. 60 people, all because I have this New Year's price doubles. Like, organic relationship development. I got a foundation of 40 dudes laid, and price doubles at the new year. Dude, 60 people. And I had no systems, like nothing at all. It was just me and 40 other guys in the beginning. And that's just like a group chat. Like, I can maintain all those relationships. I can make sure everybody's doing good. 60 people joined, bro. The churn was crazy because I couldn't communicate with them all. Like, I didn't have enough systems in place. So heading into the new year, lost a lot of people on that churn. We still have over 100 now, though. So I realized, like, hey, I need somebody else. I need a partner to kind of help me. I need a systems guy, ops. And I actually had a guy in the community. His name's Peyton. Absolutely love him. And he was in school for finance. He's in college for finance. And so I was like, okay, that's some sort of system brain there, like data, numbers. Like, it's got to be something there, right?
Yeah.
But our values were in complete alignment. And that's all I was looking for. I was looking for a guy who was hungry. He showed me he was hungry. He was grinding. And he hired me as a trainer to prep him for a strength competition. So he was a savage, training like crazy. We have complete alignment in our values. I could completely trust his heart. I knew with whatever information he had, he was going to make the best decision possible based on my values. So I pitch him. I'm like, hey, drop out of college, you got a job. And he did. He dropped out, joined my crusade, and now he's been a part of it. I think he joined late January. Now he's been a part of it. Joey's really been mentoring him. Thank God for that. And he's growing like crazy. He's starting to bring some solid systems, and I think it's going to take this whole thing to the next level.
It's dope, man. Let's
Awesome.
go.
Such a cool journey. Talk a little bit more about how the community has transitioned from just being focused on fitness to now, if just you go on your landing page, your new one, right? That's pretty new.
Yeah, like last week.
And it's mostly about faith. I don't even know if fitness and health is mentioned on there.
Yeah, it is. So I was talking to David, Sales David, that you guys know, and
That guy?
Brother, man.
yeah.
Brother, man.
I told him, I was like, I don't even want to mention faith because I feel like faith just comes, the word faith, judgment is just tied right behind it to so many people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't even want to mention faith because I just want people to just come in here as they are. Like, we leave religion at the door. We're just focused on building real relationships, whether that's with God or with each other or with ourselves. Like, we just want to build real, authentic, deep relationships. We don't care who you are or what you believe. Like, just come in, organic, raw, authentic self. That's what we're looking for. And so I was like, I don't even want to include faith. And he goes, well, how many people are faith-based in the community already? I was like, 90%. He's like, market to your ICP, bro. And I was like, all right, I'm going all in. And I kind of talked to you about this at the Client Ascension event the other week. It was like, yeah, you just need to go all in and just let go. Go all in on this faith thing. Like, I've been growing like crazy in faith, and God is just calling me to continue to do that. So really gone all in on the faith thing. We've got Bible studies rolling. And like I was saying earlier, in-person community is way more powerful than online. Online's great, but I'm doubling down on in-person events, and I think you guys are as well, and you understand the value in that. So doubling down on in-person events, just trying to get as many people in person as possible and to ultimately just pursue their God-given potential, because I think like with you guys, like this pull in entrepreneurship, like I truly believe that was God placing this in your heart, that pull of like, I need to go pursue entrepreneurship. I need to take this path. Like, I think so many guys have that pull. Society just tells them to ignore it, or it's not the right path, or no, that's not normal. Like, that's just never going to work, or whatever lies we tell ourselves. So I just want to be the foundation for people to stand on, to go pursue God, pursue the business, whatever God has placed in their heart. I just want to lay that foundation for them in our community. So that's how it's really transitioned.
Sheesh. It's going to
Love
be
that, man.
dope.
It's awesome, man.
So, you have a question, Christian?
No.
We're at 150 about. So we've got
150? Oh
yeah.
my God.
So we've got like 10 minutes until we got to start running again. You want to just jump into the lightning round?
Yeah. So lightning round. This actually has to be lightning round. Just quick questions, rip some answers. Dinner with any three people, dead or alive. Who would they be and why?
Dead or alive, my brother, Joey, and my grandpa.
Solid.
Awesome, bro. I don't even know what to ask in the lightning round anymore.
I know we've been talking for 24 hours. So
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I've asked you everything I want to ask you. No, I guess a question that's like super on brand for you is like, what does it mean to live boldly? Because I see you talk about this all the time on your socials.
Yeah, when I say living boldly, I say living in alignment with who God placed you here to be, no matter your environment. So you see so many people, they step into different environments and they almost become a chameleon. Like, they'll step into this environment and minimize themselves because, oh, these people are with me, or they'll go to a party and try to impress that girl and they'll become someone different. Like, when you don't live in alignment, you're going to have friction around your identity and around your purpose, and you're going to struggle with understanding who you are. When you step in and you live boldly as who you are in alignment in every single scenario, I truly believe that's when you find real purpose.
Love that, dude.
sweet. I'm going to steal one of Christian's, a little more of a lighthearted one, but you are a health guy, so I'm curious to hear the answer. So every year at the Masters, you know, the golf tournament.
Totally.
The previous winner picks like the Masters dinner. So if you could choose your Masters dinner, which is an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert, you can choose anything. What are you going with?
Appetizer, entree, dessert. I love to cook, so I would honestly prefer to cook it.
You get to cook it, but you got to cook it for everybody. This is your favorite meal, though.
Ooh. I think I'd have to just choose steak for the entree.
Okay.
The dessert, ice cream.
Yep.
Do we get any sides with the steak? What are we doing here?
Ooh, I usually just eat just straight steak, but if I had to go with sides, mashed potatoes and those string beans, not the green beans, like the longer green beans. I love those. That's what I would go with for the appetizer. I think I'm going with some shrimp, like a spicy sriracha shrimp, like sweet honey shrimp.
Like that.
Okay.
Like
I like
that.
that. You seem like a meat and potatoes guy, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Corn
Vulcan
fed.
season.
Where's the corn, bro?
No. I don't even like corn like that, bro. It's just all Indiana
You're
is
stereotyping
cornfields.
him, bro.
Yeah.
It's a
Don't
joke.
assume anything about me.
Last one for me. If you could say one thing to your 11-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Keep going. That's it. I wouldn't change a thing. I would just simply say keep going.
Stay in the
Solid.
gym.
Love it, bro. Well, what's your final
Stay hard.
message to the Stick Talk audience? Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? What do you want them to know about where you're at on your journey and where you're going?
Yeah, my final message is just like, I feel like when you hear a story like this or see guys like this, like you think like they're on like another level that you're not on. And that's just completely wrong. Like the way I view it is just a horizontal timeline of like, you just need reps to get there. Like that's it. So if you heard my story and you're like, oh, like he's up here, like I'm down here, like no, not at all. Like I'm just a real dude who's had struggles just like everyone else. I still struggle every single day. Like if you're struggling, just know like you're on the right path. Like just keep going. God has you exactly where you're supposed to be. I feel like so many times in entrepreneurship, I just felt like I was in the wrong spot. And so I just want that early guy to know, like, and I'm still completely early. It's like you're on the right path. You just must simply keep taking action and keep going. Like it's like what you always say, like you're gonna lose for a long time, then you'll just win all of a sudden all at once. Like that happens.
Yeah.
And my kind of win was those 60 guys joining. I'm like, wow, like this thing's blowing up, like all in. So just simply keep going. Find me on Twitter, Matt S. Moore _. If you're interested in joining an Elevate community, elvtlife.com. We'd love to have you. Like I
Highly
said,
recommend.
come as you are.
We're all in there. Or I'm in there. These guys will be in there after this episode. But, dude, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your message. It was great to learn more about your story. It's also great to procrastinate what we have to do now after this.
Yeah.
And kind of get out of that mindset. But we got to get back into it. But if you're listening, thank you guys so much for your support. Appreciate you. We do this completely for free. We're not looking to get really anything out of it other than a platform to share amazing stories like Matt has here. And so what I want to do at the end of these episodes is keep you guys on the channel. So if you liked the episode with Matt, we also got, like I mentioned earlier on, an episode with his roommate, Joey Joheim. It's somewhere on the channel. I'm not going to memorize the episode numbers at this point. But we also got another one with Andy Strom, who is one of Joey's mentors. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Andy as well.
Yeah, I've connected with him a little bit, but nothing beyond that.
So both amazing episodes. They definitely align with what Matt talked about here today. And keep showing us love and support. Comment your favorite takeaway. And check us on Twitter. Hopefully we're still alive at the end of this challenge.
Gotta run. Literally.
Gotta run.
Literally.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right.